Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always, a huge thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel, The Bushcraft Padawan. Trust your compass is a phrase that you will have heard, read, seen, possibly said yourself if you've ever spent any time formally undertaking any sort of training or development around map reading or land navigation. It's a well-used term, trust your compass. I've heard it and read it God knows how many times, and I've said it myself when teaching people map reading probably thousands of times over the years. In this video, I want to look at where that notion of trusting your compass comes from, and perhaps more importantly, consider, should we always be blindly trusting our compass? Let's find out. So what does this phrase, trust your compass, actually mean? Well, first of all, let's put the compass to one side for a moment and consider the other important aspect when using a compass, which is not the compass, but us, human beings, flesh and blood. Have a think about this. When we are out on the ground navigating, using our map, using our compass, taking in our surroundings, we are human beings. We are fallible. We are open to making bad decisions. We are open to being influenced and rushing things. Just think about it. We get hungry. We get cold. We get tired. We get anxious. We're open to panicking. We can sustain injuries. We can feel the responsibility for other people in our party. We are affected by the weather. There's a whole range of internal psychological and external factors that we are susceptible to because we are human beings, we are flesh and blood. Those external factors can all play a part in our decision making, our thinking and our accuracy when using a map and using a compass. That means that despite the best training possible, that means that despite all the best will in the world, it means that despite sometimes knowing what we should do and how we should do it, sometimes, because we're flesh and blood, we make mistakes because we are human, because other factors affect that decision making. Think now about this compass. This compass does not feel the cold. It doesn't get hungry. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't panic. It doesn't get overconfident. It doesn't worry. It isn't concerned about people in our party. It doesn't feel panic over any injuries that people might be sustaining. The weather is somewhat irrelevant to a compass. Therefore, if a compass isn't affected by the same things that we're affected by, surely that then must mean that the compass doesn't make mistakes, that the compass is always accurate because it can't be affected by the same things that we're affected by. Trust your compass, right? And that's where the phrase comes from. It comes from this notion that we as human beings can make mistakes. Human factors can come into play. A human factor cannot come into play with an inanimate plastic object such as a compass. So this is where the phrase trust your compass comes from. A compass can't make a mistake because it's not affected by the same things that you are. But it can still be affected by other things that perhaps we're not affected by. They don't play on our minds, they don't affect our decision making. They can affect the accuracy of your compass. And that's why at the beginning of this video, I talked about should we always be blindly trusting our compass? I don't think we should, and this is why. Your compass is actually a fairly delicate instrument. It can be affected by things that you and I wouldn't even take into account. The accuracy of your compass can be affected sometimes massively, and other times to the point where you might not even notice, by other metallic or magnetic objects around it. Using your compass in close proximity to metal fences, metal gateposts, the bonnet of vehicles, electricity pylons, cattle grids, can all play a part in potentially reducing and affecting the accuracy of your compass. If you don't believe me, grab your compass, grab a couple of compasses, place them on top of one another, see what happens to the compass needle. Take your compass, place it next to something that perhaps has a strong electrical current going through it, maybe some speakers, maybe a computer or a laptop, maybe a plug socket. Watch what that does to your magnetic needle of your compass. Place the compass onto a metal chair or a metal desk or the bonnet of your vehicle. Watch what it does to the needle of your compass. Sometimes the effect may be negligible. Maybe you just can't see the effect that it's having. Sometimes there'll be a small effect. And of course, when navigating, a small error can often, depending on what that error is, the further you travel, get larger and larger and larger. And sometimes, particularly if you place one compass on top of another, the effect is literally poles apart. It is completely, it's a huge effect that it can have. So with that in mind, now we know that when you are using your compass, when you are taking a bearing from the map or from the ground, when you are measuring something on the map, if you're using your compass, just have a look around you. Are you stood on something, next to something? Are you perhaps stood underneath something that may be metallic? Are you wearing something on your person that is metallic? That's even been known for the underwire of bras to affect compasses. And I've certainly seen people that are carrying weaponry and ammunition and radios and rifles have a significant effect on the accuracy of a compass. So look for those things around you. Your compass is also a relatively fragile piece of kit. It's just plastic, or most of them are just plastic after all. So if you notice any cracks, if you notice that a bubble starts to appear within your compass housing, assuming you're using this type of compass, if you notice any liquid or fluid leaking out of it, that's probably a good time to look at replacing your compass, because it may and will, over a long period of time, if the leakage is large, that will affect the accuracy of your compass needle. If your compass needle is affected, a fundamentally large part of why you are using a compass has the ability for an error and inaccuracy to be drawn into it as well. Other things you might want to consider when using a compass as well is the iron ore content of the ground. Certain ground, certain rocks, certain rock formations that we may or may not be able to see are strong enough to affect your compass as well. There is a lot to think about. So bear in mind what I said at the beginning of the video. We as human beings, we make mistakes. We are biologically at times inaccurate, and that inaccuracy can be compounded by internal and external factors. Your compass isn't affected by any of those factors, but it isn't infallible, and that's why you should trust your compass. But knowing how your compass can be and will be affected by damage or by the environment around it means that you don't necessarily blindly trust your compass. But remember, it is a tool, it is a delicate tool, it is a tool that can be affected by things that we may not necessarily think about or consider. Be aware of them. If you're aware of them, you will use your compass in such a way that you can trust your compass. There we have it then, folks. Another video for the map reading and land navigation playlist that I will link to at the end of this video. Haven't done a map reading video for quite some time, so it was good to get the brain cells thinking about that subject area. Hopefully you found it useful. Let me know in the comments below. Also let me know, is there anything I've missed? Is there anything else that can affect a compass aside from, metal, electrical current, the geological formations around you? Anything that I've not mentioned that could also affect a compass, aside from damage as well, of course, let me know in the comments below. And also let me know, have you ever been caught out? Have you ever used a compass in such a way that Basically, the compass was always going to be set up to fail because of the environment or the way in which you used it. Do let me know in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching. A massive thank you to those of you that are subscribers. If you're not, ka-ching! Is it this corner or this corner? I think it's this corner of the screen today. Yeah, this corner of the screen, there will be a small subscribe button. Please do click on it and you won't miss any future videos from me. Like, share, subscribe, all of the usual closing guff that you get from me. But most of all, have a great week. I'll see you in the woods very shortly. And thanks as always for watching. Cheers.